Hi, welcome to TFLP Microcasters. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Anna.
It's Microcasters Classic, just the two of us.
Ooh. Do you want to go ahead? Yeah, I was gonna say to move in
Do you need
front
me to
because,
shift?
like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
I
you're
don't
good.
see myself on there yet.
Um,
Is this the right
yeah,
direction to have
there you
shifted?
go.
Or should I
Yeah,
have gone the
yep,
other way?
correct. Yeah,
Okay,
that's the
cool.
right way. So we're good. So it's just Anna and I tonight. Christian had other things to do, I suppose. So yeah.
Yes, it's just us. And it worked out because Christian didn't buy this toy originally anyway. Although the truth is I've already talked him into ordering it now, so
Well, the
he
funny
will
thing
have it soon
is
enough.
I feel like both of you guys, didn't really want to get this figure, and it sounded like you weren't going to get it originally, but then you relented because you're like, well, it's a female character. I have to support female characters. Is that kind of the it thing?
I waffled a lot because I really liked how it looked, but I have an Elita already that I like pretty well. The Netflix one is really cool. So I
Yeah.
didn't think this one was any closer to her G1 look. So what would be the
Right.
purpose of it too? And I guess the purpose in having it is just having another one.
Yeah. I mean, can you really have too many Elitas?
I mean, considering we started with zero not too long ago,
That's true. Yeah, I really do like the trend
first, like,
of.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, Power of the Prime started this trend, and I think you were about to say the same thing, of us getting a bunch of Elitas that are never quite right. They all, like,
Well, I was gonna say the trend of having more female
it is nice.
Transformers.
It is nice,
So
and I really like the trend of getting new characters too.
right,
Like we got Burnout, and that was a new female character along with Bike Face Road Rocket. There we go. Names are hard, especially for these nobodies.
yeah.
Names of these characters that don't really have any fiction.
Well, and then we're gonna get a Flame War here pretty soon, which I was kind of a little surprised that that was an exclusive and not picked up by anyone.
I know, I know. I really want Playmore, so it won't make me regret Road Rocket. I'm crossing my fingers. I won't regret Road Rocket once I get her.
And
Was there
then
an Alita toy in animated? One of our
I don't think so.
people in the chat just mentioned it. I don't
It
think
doesn't
so.
does not sound familiar
I
to
know I
me.
have a leftover like half done custom someone gave me once. That was an animated Alita they made out of a blur, but she has no head, so it's not really much of an animated Alita. The animated headless person.
I figure I think I know where that probably came from. Was it a box full of customs?
It was actually one specifically. This is actually a different one. This is a
Oh,
different
okay.
time because the box of customs was a lot of headless figures. This was one very specific headless figure.
Mm, mm.
It's just my life to get a bunch of headless toys.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But
but yeah,
today,
I was gonna say I hope the trend of female characters continues,
me
and it
too.
seems like that they're actually starting to release female characters that are like done better. I should say. Like I feel like
Absolutely.
a lot of times like the old ones it's like, oh, we just have a whole like card on your back or whatever it may be, and I feel like this is like it turns into a card but the backpack isn't really that egregious. I guess I
No,
don't
it's
know
not
which
too
way they're
bad.
gonna show, but yeah, like I don't know, it cleans up pretty decently.
So today we're talking about Alita, and this is her car mode. Everyone had talked about how this car mode resembles something from The Simpsons, apparently. This is some sort of Simpsons reference looking
Yeah, do you
thing.
want to move it over just a little bit so you get the whole thing right
Sure,
there? You
I
go.
can't tell.
And then over a little bit. You went too far.
This way?
Other way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So
There's the kind of silly car mode. It's definitely not her G1 look. It's definitely not the same as the Siege look. It's a new thing.
well, I mean, I
But
think it's probably a pre-tool for Minerva, right? I mean, which
a
is we know
pre-tool for the
already know is
Minerva,
coming.
which is the comic version of
Yeah.
Minerva, who is a new thing entirely. But it actually cleans up nicely. It makes a good little car. It's a kind of a silly looking little car. I like it the way it is. It the little hat is the strangest thing to me because it comes off, right? Like this is just a little peg thing with a little Elita hat.
Well, so if I remember the G1 comic, did the car mode have a little hat on it?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's cute. I don't understand why it's a separate piece though, because you don't need to take it off to Transformer, but for some reason it was a separate piece in the box.
So the one thing I'll say about the car mode that's like kind of weird is the foot. Um, so so the foot is pretty solid in like bot mode, but in car mode, it one of the feet does that weird like that right there. Yeah, where it's like loose.
Yeah,
And it's the same way on my copy, so I assume that like all the copies must be, or probably not all of them, but
probably
like
a good deal of them.
I'm sure you could probably fix it with future. So
Probably. It doesn't isn't bad, right? Like it isn't bad in robot mode at all. Once you do that click
yeah,
over
yeah,
to here, it stops. Well, I guess it would be to here. It stops shaking around at
right, right,
all.
right.
But I don't know. It's strange. It is a weird little defect. It is a little annoying because it's hard. Like I'll just have it on the shelf, and then suddenly, the foot is hanging
Yeah.
off sideways. But it's not the worst thing.
Oh,
It cleans up pretty well. It's a teeny tiny bit panely, nothing compared to a Bayverse figure, but it takes,
yeah.
a little bit of like squeezing it around to get it all together. But I think it comes together.
I
It
don't
makes a
think it's too
unique
bad.
car. I don't know if I'd call this an Earth mode because this doesn't look like any Earth car I've ever seen, but I suppose it is an Earth mode.
Yeah. Well, and then I feel like the wheels are done pretty well. Like, if they would have
Oh,
cheaped out
nice.
on the wheels, I think it would have been a lot worse. So it's nice that they actually painted them, that they have like a pretty good, you know, whatever design to them and everything. So,
Now, when I
um,
asked you before, you said you weren't sure because you hadn't transformed her in a long time. But did you check to see if she could roll on your copy?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Is yours like can't roll or?
It's the chest clearance.
Yeah, I'm sure
Like
mine's
her
probably
chest
kind of
is right
similar to that.
there, and I don't really get rolling out of her. I don't know if like I could somehow, put more pressure on her. That's why I was asking you because I know you tend to apply more pressure to your toys than I do. So I thought maybe like it was just something that would snap in real easy if Lucas did it that I was missing, but I don't know.
No. Well,
I'll have to wait to hear from more people.
I don't know. Like, one thing I just don't really care that much. It's not
I get
something
it.
where I'm rolling my car around. So it's I don't know. I know some people like the blur mold. I think the IDW the Velocitron one like doesn't have rolling wheels, and
I still
some of
have
the
a
other
transformer.
ones. And it's like whatever. I don't really care.
I get it. I like them to roll because I like things to be functional. I like the more play you can get out of a toy. Although I
Sure.
don't really sit around and roll them. Like
Right.
sure, I have a van mode ratchet on my desk right now that I can roll. It does roll. I haven't rolled it before just now, but oh well. Anyway, it comes together pretty well. The windshield is translucent. You can see robot parts in there, but it's not too distracting. Everything looks nice. It's not super heavily painted, but I think it has paint where it needs it.
Yeah.
So, I like it.
I agree.
I think it's a
Yeah.
good
No.
look.
I feel like with a lot of these figures, the legacy line, it's like certain ones where you see the photos of them and you're like, I don't know. It seems like this is one I'm gonna skip. And then you get some of these in hand, and maybe it's just because it's a new mold and it's something different that you're like, oh, like this is actually pretty cool. Like I feel like this is the bulkhead is kind of the same way where you're like
Yeah,
just you're not so sure about it. When you get in hand you're like, oh, this is pretty cool and solid. So like I like it a lot more, I feel like, than I thought I was originally. So
that's good. I like it about as much as I thought I would. I really like the pictures and I really like the
mm-hmm.
final version. I'm just really into it. My only limitation with it, of course, is the fact that, it's not really Minerva as I remember her from Master Force, because it's the comic Minerva, which is probably the last time the version of that character will ever get used. Because, she was in the Ruckers comic, and that was a one 4-issue miniseries, and it's over. And now the license is moving. So that version of the character will never be used again. So I would much rather have a traditional looking Minerva than this. So I might end up skipping her and just keeping this. I don't know. I have to think about it.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't have a Minerva, so I'm excited to get it so that I can have a Minerva in my collection. Because I don't have the whatever the third party one, Fans Hobby,
Yeah.
that came out. I don't have the original, like the original one, vintage one. So,
Oh, the thing is so
um,
expensive.
right, right. So, yeah. So I'll be excited to get it, and I think that this is a solid mode or mold
Oh,
overall. But
absolutely.
so yeah, so this is the robot mode of her, and I like it. Like I don't know, the Netflix one like is kind of muted, I guess, like with the color palette that they use for it. Like this one is definitely very pink. I like
It
the
is.
head sculpt quite a bit. I think that that's pretty neat. I think overall, like it's good proportions. It
I
has
really like the head on it.
um, and yeah, I
That
mean
is
it has
really
all the
cool.
articulation that you want. It has wrist swivel. It has your waist and ankle tilt and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, and like I said, like in robot mode, the backpack cleans up pretty well. I think as
Mhm.
well as you can be.
I
Um,
like the fact that the backpack can be done in many different ways. Like you have it just like the traditional, the car sitting in the way it is. I
oh, is there
reverse them
another way to
around.
do it?
Well, I reverse them around so that the pink and red
Ah,
parts are up front. I think the
interesting.
idea was that one of them was the way it was supposed to look for her, and one of them was the way it was supposed to look for Minerva. But I think
Hmm.
on the box she's shown with it in more of the Minerva configuration, where the tires are just
Okay.
popped up to go higher to look like
Uh
Minerva's
huh.
big pauldrons
I
that she
didn't
usually
even
has.
realize. I kind of just did it that way. Like, I mean, not even really looking at instructions. So I didn't realize that you could do it in multiple configurations. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I just started playing with it because when I put it the way it was in the box, I was like, that's not bad, but I feel like I could do it better. And then I moved
Uh,
around the way I have them, and I like them better this way.
okay.
And
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that they left that there. And it just kind of shows like she actually has a good backpack, where a lot of, like you mentioned, the girl characters we get have these awful, ridiculous backpacks. She actually has a
Mm-hmm.
good functional transformer backpack.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it like cleans up really well.
And there's multiple parts of her using the car mode, right? Her lower legs are the back of the car
Yeah.
and the top of the car. Her arms are the middle section of the outside of the car. You actually use multiple parts of this robot, which is noteworthy
Right.
compared
For
to
the
most of the woman characters we get.
yeah. Well, and I don't think that the way they did the legs, I don't feel like it feels too egregious where like it doesn't feel
No,
like that it's hollow or anything like that on the inside or so yeah.
and I like it because they still give her kind of like slender upper legs. So she's kind of got like the Mega Man thing going on with the big lower legs
Yeah.
and the smaller upper legs. It looks good. It works out pretty well. Rod
Ron
asks who wins, yes, between War for Cybertron Elita 1 or Legacy. So he's referring to the Walmart exclusive Siege mold. I'd have to go grab her from the shelf to illustrate, but they're both good.
as long as you don't say the power of the primes, Alita will.
Yeah, for
Al-
real, right? So this easily beats the Power of the Primes one. Let's just get
although
that.
although I will say the power of the primes, I do like the Alita one better than the Starscream. So
There. It is better.
they're still not great. But yeah, I think that
That
this one,
Alita was not
that's fine.
heinous. She wasn't terrible in robot mode.
Yeah,
The jet mode and the combined mode were both awful, but the robot
yeah.
mode was okay for the era. This is way better.
But yeah, I feel like I kind of this one might win for me. Um, I don't know.
This one's
But the
definitely a better toy.
yeah, I don't know. Like yeah, I mean, plus this, yeah, like you said, like this one transforms a lot better. The other one, like the whole robot just fits under the car, and the car's the backpack and whatever. So, um, but
And it's fine, like the other one it looks really good, right? Like the other one is literally a package with a robot woman action figure inside of it. And that robot woman action figure looks really good. She's a fun toy. But being in a transformer, that one really is not a transformer. This one is.
well, and she comes with some, I guess, energon weapons. I think they actually look pretty good. I think the color palette works pretty well with like the, blue and the light blue, and then the pink and whatnot too. So.
I totally forgot her weapons. She doesn't have good weapon storage in either mode. There's not really a
Yeah.
good place to put them away. The only place I could figure out to put them in robot mode is on the sides of her backpack, which makes it super wide. Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Unless she's holding them pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. You have to hold them or put them away, one or the other.
Yeah. So.
But they look good. They're translucent. Mine kind of has some somewhat loose hips, which you could fix with floor polish or whatever,
I
but
don't
they're
feel
not
like mine is too
terrible.
bad. I mean, I don't know. It's fine. I don't think it's
I've
as
also played
like
with mine a
it's not
lot
bad.
already.
Oh well, there you
I
go.
like her a
See,
lot.
yeah, I have not.
Never wear out.
I've posed around a little bit, but not. I'm sure nothing like how you do.
Yeah, I really enjoy this one. And I wanted to mention the head sculpt has this like kind of oddball detail where she actually has a line coming down from each eye that they lined in red. Like just it it has a like strong look to it in hand. It doesn't really photograph well or show well very easily, but she has these cool little red lines, which could just be facial
Yeah,
detail.
if you.
You could think of them as bloody tears, however you want to think about them. It's fun. I just
Yeah,
really
I
think
don't
it
know if
makes
it
the
would
head
show
look
up.
super good. The head is a very good head sculpt. We've been seeing pictures of Minerva, and I think her head sculpt is kind of, but this one's head sculpt is fantastic. It's so good. She's got her ankle tilt. She's got the wrist swivel that real humans don't have. She doesn't really have giant gaps anywhere on her limbs. She's just really good. I really like this thing. I guess if I had one complaint, it would be that my backpack doesn't always peg in well. I kind of have to shove it in there and then it comes loose again, but it's not terrible. I'm
So
just trying to nitpick.
here's the question. I mean, I realize it's not comparable at all, but how does this compare to the Fans Hobby, the $60 car? Like, would you rather
Oh, the
have this?
Minerva?
Yeah, yeah.
See, okay, I hate that toy. That toy
Yeah.
aggravates me so much. The arms were made super skinny, and the leg transformation requires a little bit of, shoving plastic past each other, clearance issue stuff. I detest it. However, that one actually looks like Master Force Minerva. The one we're going to get soon out of this mold looks nothing like Master Force Minerva other than the head. So you're kind of at a lose lose there because you're either getting one that doesn't really look like the original character or one that is a pain in the ass. I don't know. It's a hard choice there. I've talked to a few people who actually like that mold. They actually like the Fans
Mm-hmm.
Hobby Minerva. They probably transform it less than I do, or they're just really good at doing it. One or the other. I don't know. Because when they made the Ghost Shooter, the Shooter mold is out of her, right? Like it's the
Mm-hmm.
same mold, but they changed the legs and they gave him bigger arms, and it looks great. It transforms great. It looks great. It plays great. It's an awesome figure. I think I actually really like Fans Hobby. It's just that one figure just isn't great, which sucks because they made that weird ass. Remember they made the wind blade out of it? If that
Right.
would have been a different mold, I would have bought it because it's goofy as hell and I like it.
Yeah, I
But
feel like we still need a proper transforming Windblade. Obviously the Hasbro ones have been fine, but it'd be nice to actually get a like an MMC one or someone like that.
have you seen Bingo Toys? That one's
Mm-mm.
coming out soon. It'll probably
Oh,
be at TFCon.
well,
So
there you go.
it's a little more like it's as stylized as Nicaea's, but it's not sexualized. It's just a more stylized looking wind blade.
Mm-hmm.
It looks cool. It's a very like angry head sculpt and lots of robot details and stuff. So it's pretty neat. I'm sure you'll get to see it soon in a couple weeks. So yeah, I just really don't have anything bad to say about this figure. I will say, look, see her little hat. I just left it on the car and she transformed just fine. I just don't get why that's another piece.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's not like you could do anything else with it. Like that's the thing that's kind of weird about it.
Yeah, right. You can take it off and put it in her hand. So she's like, here's a hat for you.
So, was there an Elita one, uh, like for the Bayverse? Like, I just don't remember that. But
So
again, I
was Elita just the name of one of the RC bikes?
oh
Is that what it
maybe.
was?
So this is why we need Christian because like I
I know,
didn't
because he pays more
care.
attention to Bayverse than we do.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can't remember if there was a solo bike made that they named Elita. I think there was though. I think there was.
Yeah. Like again, I don't go deep into the Bayverse figures. So I feel like the only ones the only Bayverse that I really liked is the like based on the what is it? Is it what's the Travis Knight? The like those designs like I think it's kind of cool. Like I still have tried not to get those cuz it's like I, I have to draw the line somewhere for myself, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I have
Zelda
to
says
draw
it
the
was
line
a
too.
one of the bike molds. So
Okay. So yeah,
Appar-
she was used there.
apparently there's a
It
Chromia too.
obviously we didn't get them.
Right.
The only movie bike mold I've ever had is the one that came with is it Skids or Mudflap is the green one? Whichever one, the Human Alliance Skids Flap that I got came with a RC bike and it was red
Yeah.
and it was terrible. It was like the most trashiest thing ever. Had like 1 point of articulation and transformed by like breaking it in half. It was terrible. But I really love the Human Alliance toys. Like that was one part of the Bayverse toys that I was really into, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to own too many of them because I just don't collect Bayverse stuff.
Yeah.
Just not gonna
Right.
get into it. It's kids, okay. It's
I'm
kids.
the same way.
Yeah, see now she can give you her hat. She's like, here's hat. That's all I can do with it is hold it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. There's nothing else to do with that other than to put it on the car. Maybe you could put it on other Transformers. They can wear the hats.
There you go.
Try to find a way to stick it on them. So yeah, I like her a lot. I haven't decided yet if I want to own two because I don't think there's any remolding, right? It's just a straight repaint for Minerva.
Yeah. I'd assume just a new head.
Yeah, just a new head. And the head's a lot bigger. She's a big head
Oh
because
really?
it's
Yeah.
based on her headmaster's lock.
Hmm. Okay.
So she's a
Yeah, I
big
haven't
old
really looked
head, big
at
old
it that
noggin.
closely. Like, I think actually, because the Minerva's actually been out for a little while. Like, I think it's hitting the UK and Asia, right? So,
Yeah, people are finding it. I was really hoping that it would be out in Walgreens by the time we were driving to TFCon so we could do our annual stop at Walgreens to
right.
buy the Walgreens exclusive, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's probably going to go up on Pulse relatively soon and we'll just order it there and be done.
Yeah.
All the excitement's taken out of it these days.
So, but yeah, I'd recommend this too. I think it's a
Me
good mold.
too. Yeah, I'd say everybody, get one or the other. Get either Elita or Minerva, whichever one you need in your collection. If this doesn't look enough like Elita to you, and you'd rather have this be Minerva, go get Minerva. That's fine. And if it doesn't look like Minerva, get Elita. And I think this thing also has potential. Personally, I think we're probably going to get a strong arm. And I think this has potential to be a base for that. Just because the way her like shoulders and backpack and everything, I think
Yeah.
she'd make a decent base for a strong arm
It'd
if
be
they
cool to
wanted
get a
to.
strong arm. I really like that character. So.
I would really like to get a strong arm, and I would be fine with her getting a new mold that's a bigger, more truck-like look.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd also be fine with just beefing this mold up a little bit as a remold
Yeah.
and making it look more like her. That would be neat. I'd be fine with it. So yeah, good mold, happy with it. Good toy, excellent face, really fun. No big complaints.
There you go. All right. Well, I guess that's it. So I don't know if there's too much more to say.
Yeah, there's only two of us. Christian would have
Yeah.
gone on a
I know,
long
right?
tangent about Bayverse if he was here. We just can't do
Right.
it.
Right.
Yes, yes. Daldron, we are definitely talking about RID 15 strong arm, not Energon strong arm. There has been
Yeah.
that listing for strong arm, and while some of us are getting excited and being like, "Oh, it's gonna be RID strong arm, she's so cool." Other people are like, "Well, what if it's the Energon one?
Oh.
Energon one would just be a boring hound retool, probably, or something like that. It would just no, that's not what we
Yeah.
want."
That's what I was hoping. Is the RID 15 strong arm. So,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Anywho, we're
Yep.
happy.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Anna. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thanks to Zaldron and Ron and Osmosis Darkel David. So yeah, I guess that's it. And yeah, we'll see you next week.